Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Money Means Business. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we're going to focus on the economic activities and the updates that we have seen in Egypt domestically over the past week, and more specifically for Saturday. And we will be starting straight away with the main activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who discussed the implementation process of the comprehensive health insurance system, the progress in its digitalization, and the preparation for its pilot operation in the governorate of Al-Minya. This came during the President's meeting with the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Health and Population Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, as well as the Presidential Advisor for the Financial Affairs, Lieutenant General Ahmed Al-Shadli. The presidential spokesman said that President al-Sisi stressed the importance for all the medical facilities to be fully prepared medically, technically, and administratively before opening. The head of state affirmed the necessity of accelerating the digital transformation of the healthcare system and the support for the integration of the artificial intelligence applications in the facilities of the healthcare. The President further instructed to strengthen the cooperation among governmental entities, the private sector, and the strategic partners to advance the national healthcare projects. For his part, the Minister of Health asserted the success of the system's first phase and the ongoing preparations for launching the second one. And we will be shedding more light on the activities of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the statements of Prime Minister Madbouli after the weekly cabinet meeting, as he had held the press conference following the cabinet meeting at the governmental headquarters in the capital in the presence of Mr. Diya Rashwan, the Minister of State for Information. The Prime Minister began by welcoming the attendees and renewing the greetings on the occasion of the Eid al-Adha that took place for the past week, praying for the continued blessings and prosperity for Egypt and the Arab and the Islamic nations. He reviewed the recent international and the regional developments and Egypt's efforts in addressing the regional issues. He affirmed that Egypt continues the mediation efforts between the United States and Iran through the work and the efforts of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He noted the President's recent meetings with the international institutions, telephone conversations with the world leaders, especially the French President Emmanuel Macron, and his speech during Egypt's celebration of Africa Day. Madbouli emphasized all the activities, reaffirmed Egypt's long-standing commitment to promoting peace and security in the region, ending the ongoing conflicts that negatively affect the countries worldwide, and supporting Africa's development agenda through 2063 and Egypt's active participation in the African institutions. The Prime Minister expressed hope that the final declaration ending the ongoing military conflicts in the region would soon be achieved for the economic purposes. And still focusing on the negative repercussions and the impacts of the war between the United States, Israel and Iran in the Middle East and the region, and more specifically on Egypt, as Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, the Prime Minister, held a meeting to review the efforts to build up the fuel reserves in order to ensure the continued provision of the energy for citizens and various productive sectors. The meeting was attended by Mr. Hassan Abdullah, the Governor of the Central Bank of Egypt, Engineer Mahmoud Asmat, the Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy, Engineer Karim Badawi, Minister of Finance or Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, and Minister Yasser Sohi, the Deputy Minister of Finance for the Fiscal Policies, Dr. Hashim As-Sayed, the Assistant to the Prime Minister and the CEO of the State-Owned Enterprises Unit, as well as a number of officials from relevant ministries and authorities. The meeting discussed the status of the petroleum product supplies for the upcoming period with the aim of ensuring that the citizens' needs are met, the electricity generation stations can continue operating, and the productive sector has access to the petroleum products it requires. This comes as part of the government's commitment to securing the energy supplies necessary to support the economic activity. The meeting also reviewed the arrangements for securing the financial resources needed to provide the petroleum products and the production inputs, thereby supporting the activities of all the productive sectors. And still with the activities of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the meeting that took place between himself and the Central Bank Governor Mr. Hassan Abdullah and the Minister of Finance Ahmed Kujak. Dr. Mustafa Madbouli had held a meeting at the government headquarters in the new capital, and it was attended by Mr. Hassan Abdullah, the Governor of the Central Bank, and Minister of Finance Ahmed Kujak. During the meeting, a number of issues related to the economic affairs were reviewed. The meeting discussed the coordination measures between the government and the central bank to provide the necessary financial allocations to strengthen the strategic reserves of the various commodities. This aims at increasing the availability of these goods and ensure they are offered at appropriate prices, including strategic commodities, petroleum products, and the production inputs. The meeting also addressed several aspects of the current performance of the Egyptian economy, in addition to reviewing the state of the global economy, the implications of the challenges facing the countries around the world, and their impact on the macroeconomy. And regarding the meeting of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the Minister of Communications, we have this top story. As Dr. Madbouli met with Engineer Ra'fat Hindi, the Minister of Communications and Information Technology, as part of the government's regular review of the ministry's work and the follow-up on the ongoing projects. During the meeting, Engineer Hindi reviewed the current and the future investment opportunities in the communications and information technology sector, focusing on 4 key areas: outsourcing, localization of the mobile phone manufacturing, digital infrastructure development, and data center industry. In the context of enhancing the Egyptian competitiveness as a global hub for exporting the IT services, the minister explained that the meetings have been held with the officials from several major global outsourcing companies to discuss the investment and the expansion opportunities in the Egyptian market and explore the mechanisms to support the growth of the operations, in line with the plans to extend the investments in Egypt through 2028. And Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli also chaired a meeting to review a proposal for establishing the Global Logistics Distribution Center within the Suez Canal Economic Zone. We will be having more details in the upcoming report.
Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Prime Minister of Egypt, chaired a meeting to review a proposal for establishing a global logistics distribution center within the Suez Canal Economic Zone, SCC zone. The meeting was attended by Dr. Mohammed Farid, Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade, Mr. Walid Gamaluddin, Chairman of the General Authority for the Suez Canal Economic Zone, Mr. Mustafa Sheikhoun, Deputy Chairman for Investment and Promotion, Dr. Muhammad Awad, CEO of the General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, GAVI, and several other officials. The Prime Minister emphasized that the government has ambitious plans to continuously attract investments to the SC zone and localize key industrial and development projects there. Among these initiatives is the proposal to establish a global logistics distribution center within the economic zone. He noted that several international companies have already submitted proposals for the project, and efforts are underway to bring it to fruition. This initiative aligns with directives from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to maximize the value of the nation's major infrastructure and development projects, strengthen efforts to attract foreign direct investment, and reinforce Egypt's role as a regional and global center for trade, logistics services, and supply chains. Madbouli stressed the importance of cooperating with serious investors and finalizing agreements that will help achieve the project's objectives. He also highlighted the need for clear governance frameworks for such activities and called for the development of a comprehensive strategy to promote Egypt as a regional redistribution hub. This would help attract global companies to establish logistics distribution centers across various development regions throughout the country. During the meeting, officials viewed proposals submitted by several companies to develop global logistics distribution centers for various goods and commodities. Discussions also covered the ongoing evaluation of these proposals, coordinated among the Suez Canal Economic Zone Authority, the Ministry of Investment and Foreign Trade, and other relevant entities. In addition, participants reviewed requests submitted by various stakeholders aimed at accelerating the implementation of this major project. The meeting also highlighted the promising opportunities associated with the project, which is expected to represent a major qualitative leap for Egypt. The initiative would provide a strategic opportunity to strengthen Egypt's role as a regional center for managing trade flows and distribution operations.
Welcome back. You're still watching Money Means Business, and returning to the main top stories and the economic activities that we have witnessed domestically here in Egypt for the past week, and more specifically for today, the activities of Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati and the meeting with the Vice President for Banking of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Dr. Badr Abdulati, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the International Cooperation, the Egyptians abroad, met with Mr. Matteo Patroni, the Vice President for Banking and the member of the Executive Committee for the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the EBRD, on the sidelines of the 35th annual meeting of the EBRD Board of Governors. During the meeting, Minister Abdulati expressed the appreciation for the close and long-standing partnership between Egypt and the EBRD, emphasizing the important role the bank plays in supporting Egypt's development priorities and the economic reform efforts. He noted Egypt's advanced position as one of the bank's largest countries of operation in the region, and affirmed Egypt's aspiration to build on the positive momentum in the bilateral relations and further strengthen the cooperation in the priority sectors to help achieve the sustainable development goals and support the economic growth. Minister Abdulati also reaffirmed the state's commitment to continuing the implementation of the private sector-led growth model through expanding the public-private partnerships and creating more investment opportunities in the renewable energy, industry, infrastructure, digital transformation, and the financial services. He stressed that these efforts would enhance the sustainable economic development and create new opportunities for growth and employment. And still with the activities of Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati and the meeting that took place during his Asian tour in South Korea and Japan earlier on in the week, as during visit to Seoul on Tuesday, Dr. Badr Abdulati, Egypt's Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Expatriates, met with representatives of major Korean companies. The meeting focused on ways to strengthen the economic and the investment cooperation between the two countries and reviewed the promising investment opportunities in the Egyptian market, especially in the Suez Canal Economic Zone. Minister Abdulati expressed appreciation for the important role played by the Korean companies in Egypt, praising the success stories of the Korean firms operating in the country. He emphasized Egypt's aspiration to elevate the economic and the investment cooperation with South Korea in the upcoming period in a manner that reflects the comprehensive partnership between the two nations. The foreign minister also highlighted the positive developments in the Egyptian economy in light of the economic and the structural reforms implemented by the government in the recent years. And finally, the participation of the Minister of Petroleum, Engineer Karim Badawi, in a tour to Azerbaijan and several other countries to be promoting the opportunities in the sectors of oil and gas in Egypt. On the sidelines of his participation in the Baku Energy Week events in Azerbaijan, Engineer Karim Badawi, the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, held discussions with the delegation from the Azerbaijani state oil company, Sokar, headed by Mr. Elshad Nasrov, the Vice President of the company. The meeting was attended by Ambassador Hossein Eddin Rida, Egypt's ambassador to Azerbaijan, Engineer Salah Abd Karim, the CEO of the Egyptian General Petroleum Corporation, the EGPC, and Mr. Yusuf Marwan, the Director General for Monitoring Petroleum and Mining Contracts and Agreements at the Ministry. The discussions focused on following up on the steps to activate the long-term strategic partnership between the petrol and the gas sectors of the two countries, accelerating the pace of joint cooperation and expanding its scope. This comes in light of the framework agreement signed between the Egyptian General Petroleum Corporation and SOCAR on the sidelines of the Egypt Energy Show Egypt 2026 held in Cairo. And to be shedding more light on those important top stories that we have read throughout the past months of Money Means Business, I'm honored to be having with me over the phone Dr. Hany Abou Fotouh, the economic expert. Dr. Hany, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Nile TV International.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. These are very important topics, and I'm glad to be with you and your viewers tonight to discuss them.
Anytime. First of all, we do know that there was a cabinet meeting convened by Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli in the past days to be discussing the allocations, the financial allocations for healthcare and education. Today, we have seen a meeting between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the Prime Minister, and the Minister of Health to be discussing the importance of the medical insurance system and the financial allocations for it. How do you see the importance of those topics, more specifically the healthcare for the future of Egypt?
Well, I think the main objective is very simple.
Yes.
To invest in the Egyptian system. When the government increases spending on health and education, it is not only spending money, it is building human capital. A healthy citizen can work better, produce more, and support his family. And a well-educated young person can join the labor market, use technology, and help Egypt compete globally. There's also a very important social objective here, is the social justice. Why am I saying that? Because we want the child in a public school and the patient in a public hospital to receive a decent service. Not only those who can afford private care. So I think when we hear that the health care allocations are increasing by around 30% and education by approximately 20% in the new fiscal year 2026-27 budget, this means the state is trying to move support closer to the needs of Egyptian families. And definitely, I will say it simply, stronger health and education today means stronger economic growth tomorrow.
Dr. Hany, how do you see the importance of increasing the funding for health and education in terms of improving the quality of services being provided for the citizens in those sectors?
The real test is not the number of financial allocations in the budget. The real test is that when citizens feel results on the ground in healthcare, more funding should mean better hospitals, more available medicine, and better equipment and shorter waiting times. Let's take a simple example. A mother takes her child to a public hospital. She should not wait for hours and then be told to buy medicines from outside. This is a kind of problem that I see, that better spending should help solve this problem. And another example, in education, the funding should help improve classrooms, support teachers, and upgrade schools, and reduce pressure on overcrowded classes. A student in a public school deserves a clean classroom, a well-trained teacher, and a real chance to learn. The Ministry of Finance has also allocated more resources for state-funded treatment, health insurance, medicines, and medical supplies. And these are exactly the things that Egyptian families feel directly. So the goal is not just more spending, goal is better service, better access, and better dignity for Egyptian families.
Yes, Dr. Hany, Abou Fotouh, moving on to another top story that we have tackled throughout the episode of Money Means Business, the meeting that took place between Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, the Minister of Finance Ahmed Kujuk, and the Governor of the Egyptian Central Bank, Mr. Hassan Abdullah. What were the key issues, in your opinion, that were tackled during such a meeting?
Well, this meeting was important because it brought together the three sides responsible for economic stability. The government on one side, the Central Bank of Egypt, and the Ministry of Finance on the other side. The main issues were very practical: securing strategic commodity reserves. So I think that also one or other two topics that were discussed in the meeting is maintaining foreign currency buffers and aligning fiscal and monetary policy. In simple terms, this means making sure Egypt has enough essential goods, enough foreign currency, and a clear, unified economic direction. This comes at a critical moment. Why? Because Egypt has made a real progress after a very difficult period of inflation and foreign currency pressure. Earlier this year, the International Monetary Fund completed its reviews of Egypt reform program, unlocking around $2.3 billion. It also acknowledged progress in stabilizing the foreign currency situation and bringing inflation down from its earlier peaks. So this isn't a routine meeting, as far as I believe. It was about protecting what has been achieved, supporting markets, and making sure citizens don't face sudden shortages or sharp price shocks.
Dr. Hany, what is the importance of the coordination between the monetary and the fiscal authorities, which could be leading to economic stability on the longer term?
Well, put it this way, coordination is really the key word here. The Ministry of Finance manages the budget. That means spending, taxes, subsidies, and public debt. The Central Bank of Egypt manages inflation, interest rates, bank stability, and foreign exchange market. These are two different tools. but they must work toward the same goal. The Ministry of Finance and Central Bank, they must work in tandem. If the fiscal policy and monetary policy move in opposite directions, they send mixed signal to citizens, to investors, and to markets. And mixed signals create uncertainty.
Yes.
But when they move together, when they work in tandem, the direction becomes clear and confidence grows. For example, when the government controls spending and directs support to the right people, it helps ease inflation pressure. At the same time, central bank maintains a credible monetary policy. It supports the pound and causes inflation expectations and give investors more confidence to enter the market. We have seen how important this coordination was during Egypt's previous reform periods, and we see it again today. If annual urban inflation slowed to 14.9% in April 2026, down from 38%, or 38% 2 years ago. So yes, progress has been made, but inflation is still above central bank's target, which is 7%, with a margin of 2% up and down. That means coordination must continue. The way to put it this: the Ministry of Finance and Central Bank must play as one team, and right now that is exactly what is needed.
Yes, Dr. Hany, Abou Fotouh, the economic expert, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Nile TV International and Money Means Business. And I'd like to say hello to my next guest over the phone, Dr. Mohammed Kafafi, the chairman of the International Council for the Green Economy. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Dr. Mohammed. Of course, we have seen several measures being introduced by the Egyptian government under the directives of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli for the benefit of the Egyptian citizen and the overall economy for the years to come. How would you assess those measures?
Now, the new trends and development of the economy is better than before, but we still have concerns regarding sustainable development projects, and still we have a problem in the trade-off balance, and also still have some comment. But already we can say the government developing, government improving better than before.
Another front, today we have seen the activities of Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdelati and his meeting with the Vice President for Banking for the EBRD, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. How do you see activities of Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdelati affecting the overall prospects of having new opportunities for investment?
Now the government moving towards attracting more clients and investments, and especially in agriculture and infrastructure projects, and also in energy. Then I think that there's a good opportunity, especially during this year, for attracting more investment opportunities through the banks and through the constructions project and so on.
Yes, and on Tuesday we have seen Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdelati engaging in meetings with several Korean investors, potential investors and representatives for several companies in South Korea, in Seoul, and early on in the week. Other rounds of meetings took place in Japan, in Tokyo. How do you see the importance of such a tour by the Egyptian Foreign Minister in Asia, more specifically for Japan and South Korea?
Yes, it's a very good, because now I think the time now to open, because long time we already missing a lot of opportunity for matching between Asia and Egypt, especially in Japan. We already focusing a lot in China. Now I think it's a good time for collaboration with Japanese industry and technology, especially in renewable energy and energy efficiency projects. to improve at least to overcome the energy crisis or energy problem, maximizing the energy reserve in Egypt, and so on.
Yes, and finally, Dr. Mohammed, the meetings of the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Engineer Karim Badawi in Azerbaijan and for today as well. How do you see the opportunities for growing foreign direct investments in the sector of oil and gas in Egypt?
It is a very good opportunity because Azerbaijan already one of the highest oil reserve and also owning a lot of technology regarding oil and gas industry. It will be good opportunity to collaborate and already attracting these companies and the investors to invest in the potential oil and gas reserve in Egypt, inshallah.
Yes, and of course, as the chairman of the International Council for Green Economy, how do you see the efforts of Egypt in this field, the green economy and, of course, the preservation of the environment?
Actually, it is there is already last 5 years from COP20 or from about 4 years till present.
Yes.
Situation completely changed. The government to move towards transition to green economy very seriously. A lot of projects, but always I'm saying we have a high potential of change. For example, solar energy, still we have a huge potential. We can depending on the solar energy alone to covering all energy demand in Egypt.
Yes.
It is already available, and also another renewable energy resource like waste to energy, waste. It is, but okay, we are. By the way, the government already putting a target at the end of 2023. We already aiming to electricity sector, 40% of electricity depending on renewable energy. If this achieved, it will be really
by 2030. By
yes.
year 2030.
Yes, just 4 or 5
Yes.
years. It is hoping to achieve 4%. It is really, if they achieved, it will be very fantastic target, inshallah.
Can we be succeeding in such goal?
I hope. I hope, inshallah.
Yes, Dr. Mohammed Kafafi, the chairman of the International Council for Green Economy. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on Nile TV International and Money Means Business. And this brings to the end of this episode for this week. Thank you for watching and goodbye.